for Imitation of Life, the Audacity of Suzanne Heintz. And Karen Friedman, the director. Did I get that
Whitehead.
right? Sorry?
Whitehead.
Karen Whitehead. See, I got the wrong card. My apologies. Karen Whitehead and Suzanne Heintz, everybody. I think I can do this without a card because I'm fangirling on 2 accounts here. Karen, for directing this amazing project. I know this isn't your first. And opening me up to the world of the art of Suzanne Heintz. So, 2 for the price of 1. Fantastic.
I'd like I didn't do this alone. I did this with my producing partner, Catherine Wilkinson Francis, who is my partner in crime in this. So please stand up.
If you could stand up, please.
She's I know there are a lot of people in the audience who have helped both Suzanne and I in this unique collaboration.
Well, such a collaborative.
Thank you to everyone that's been involved with both of us.
Karen, what drew you to Suzanne? Were you aware of it before?
Well, my first film, indie film, was in a film festival, women's film festival in Denver, and we were introduced because her first short was in that, and we were asked to do a panel about women risk-taking in art and groundbreaking, and it's actually I heard Suzanne first, to be honest. That amazing laugh that you've now heard. And she was I overheard her talking as we were getting ready for this panel, and I literally just met her and she was talking to someone else about the challenge of getting a mannequin into a taxi cab. A mannequin dressed like Harry Grant in Paris. And I'm like, I need to know more about that.
That's a great opening.
So that's exactly how we met.
Your film was Her Aim is True. And Suzanne, what was your film?
The Vows.
The Vows. So that was how you met. And I just have one more question for you. You started this as a very female-focused project, obviously, and it took a life of its own, as your art did, your project. And a lot of that had to do with social media, which it's really a strange journey, and it took it to another level. And how did that impact you? And then I'll let you elaborate as well, Suzanne.
Well, I'll just start and then I'll hand off to Suzanne, because so basically from the documentary filmmaking point of view, what I thought was really interesting is the layers we were getting as we had such incredible access. Suzanne trusted us and gave us so much access to her archive, and she agreed to do video diaries, and I had her put the camera in the car, the iPhone camera in the car, hoping she wouldn't have a car crash, but she told me she always did all her thinking in the car on her commute to work. So we were getting all these layers, which makes it a little bit more interesting than your average artist portrait, as it were, and then because we're both about visual storytelling, it made it more subjective. You're really inside the artist's mind more, but also Catherine and I were always thinking about, sifting through all this stuff, how we weave it all together, and watching it, as you say, it did take a life of its own, because we were impacted by, as we watched it from the early days, through the years of watching all her art and looking at all her archival material and her own reactions to it, how it was being impacted by social media. And I think that's the journey with your story, of the project. And that's kind of it. So it was fun to see that and reveal that in different ways.
Right. So I was already commenting on the impact of basically living as if you were in a postcard in the days of real film. But when the digital world exploded, it only aided my message, and it made it very easy for people to see how they're complicit, and we're all in it together, and how you still maintain a sense of authentic self in relation to everyone else's chronic projection of what the right life looks like, and I find myself still involved in this Escher-esque reflection and participating in it, which was the subject of my film, The Vows, of sharing my personal experiences so that others can see ... put your face here. And that's the reason why I never hired a model or used a female mannequin, is because it was about the relationship of myself to what the world is telling me is the right picture for how I should look.
Absolutely, and that's why it's so effective. I mean, as a older woman who's never been married, I really appreciated what you were saying. Obviously, as far as social media, one thing that I found really interesting was the fact that, you know, there's positives and negatives. You get this great fame and great attention, but you're not really getting no fortune. Fame, no fortune, that kind of thing. So it's really, it's a platform.
documentary
Yeah.
filmmaker.
Exactly. They've never, that's why we have sandwiches. But it's, and which is why I love documentary, because it's a labor of love. And we feel that, but it just is a really interesting thing, because social media, you have to take what is positive and what will serve you, and not get discouraged by the disappointments.
Correct. I mean, every good thing comes with its little drawbacks. And I just feel as though part of what is, you know, my own girlfriend, Tammy, who was here, is the one that came up with the idea of starting to shoot myself. I worked in television my entire life. I always pointed the camera that way. Somebody else was more interesting. And Tammy said, no, your photo shoots are more interesting than the photos themselves. Start shooting yourself. And to me, the process of filming what was going on in my life and being able to share it with other people. Wow, what if that didn't happen?
Right.
And the perspective that I gleaned from going through this process, having a film made about me with the hands of every single person who has come across my path, right? You know, hold this. I can't do everything myself. I need a reflector. Can you carry this? Can you get this mannequin on my shoulder? Like, every single person has helped in this collaborative effort, because I think people are feeling exactly the same thing. And they want someone to express what they're feeling. And I'm happy to, like, put myself on display to show others. You have to look at yourself, and you have to look at what other people are telling you.
Well, it's a brave thing to do, and what made me curious is, of course, while you're making the movie, you're so busy doing everything, but to see it, that's got to be quite an experience.
It's surreal.
Yeah.
It is, and you know, I saw it yesterday, and I realized, you know, I'm still in a fog, and yeah, that's my living room, but to see it in a completely different context through someone else's interpretation. It's so meta, I don't even think I can get my head around it.
It'll hit in a couple of weeks.
But I think that's the idea. I mean, to me, that is the point of being an artist, is not to, it's the art of suggestion of an idea, so that someone looks at it, interprets, and then takes it in and changes it to fit their needs and reflect upon it and change their mind.
Absolutely. Well, you both work very well together to bring that across. I'm afraid I'm not going to be able to open it up to questions because of the fact that we're running out of time. I think I'm chatting too. What I would like to know the future of the film. Where can people see it when people talk about it? And what are you both working on now?
Okay, very quickly, I would say it belongs to you all now. It's your job to help us poor indie artists and filmmaker people get the world to know about Suzanne's story in this film. So please share it on social media, and if there's any industry connected people here, Catherine and I are happy to have a conversation about distribution. Please come and see us. And I know Suzanne has lots more on her plans to develop in another direction, probably without mannequins maybe.
Oh, yes. I sold most of them in garage sale last week. But yeah, it's ultimately, I don't think I will ever speak about anything else besides the relationship of the self to society. That is my shtick. But I do have a lot of other different ideas about how to get across to people that point. And I'm going to work in an interactive way, also three-dimensional. Wow, no photography, but there will be films. And so it's bigger and better,
I think it's very
more
exciting,
interaction.
and I'm glad you're going in that direction. I know that you have a very fabulous Instagram page. I'm sure the film does as, you know,
Yeah,
as well.
we're on Facebook and Instagram, imitating my film, The Audacity of Suzanne Heintz, of course.
Absolutely. It does a world of good to follow these and spread the word. That's what it's all about. I really want to thank Suzanne Heintz and Karen Whitehead and all of you for attending this wonderful film, Imitating Life, The Audacity of Suzanne Heintz.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of your